Lakeside living is very enticing, especially for those who enjoy nature and want to reside somewhere with peace and tranquility. After all, living near fresh water has tremendous benefits, ranging from clean fresh air, lack of industrial pollution, to serene environment. As a whole, it's like living on your very own private beach with a range of activities like kayaking, waterboarding, swimming, fishing, and lots of others that are not easily accessible elsewhere. Europe is home to many picturesque lakes that come with all the perks and quirks of lakeside living. Out of these, some are remote, some are undeveloped, and are not habitable. So in this video, we've listed 12 of the best European lakes to live or retire on. All of these lakes are livable and are bordered by well-renowned cities, towns, or communes, hosting all the modern-day amenities and services. Another thing to note is that most of these are located in and around Italy and Switzerland, as this region of Europe hosts the most ideal lakes for long-term living. Number 12. Lake Orta, Italy. Shrouded in historical significance, Lake Orta is a quieter and more secluded alternative to the larger and more crowded lakes in northern Italy. The lake is approximately 13 kilometers long and is surrounded by rolling hills, quaint villages, including the popular town of Orta San Giulio, which lies on the eastern shore of the lake. However, most people only treat it as a relaxing summer getaway and tend to reside here temporarily, because in fall and winter, the temperature drops under 0 degrees Celsius. But nonetheless, there's still a small community that resides here permanently throughout all seasons. Plus, it isn't as secluded as it seems. In fact, the area is quite close to many major cities. For instance, the city of Milan and Turin are only 1.5 hour drive away. Aside from the connectivity, the lake itself features a variety of different qualities, the main one being its shores dotted with beaches that are ideal for swimming and other water sport activities. On the downside, living expenses in this region are a bit expensive, with monthly expenses for a single individual in the main town, Orta San Giulio, coming at around $2,500, but this price can change depending on the type of accommodation. Number 11. Lake Maggiore, Italy. Spanning in an area of about 230 square kilometers, Lake Maggiore is located at the southern edge of the Swiss Alps and extends far back into the northern regions of Italy. Despite being in close proximity to two other lakes, Como and Orta, Lake Maggiore still holds its own distinctive features and characteristics. It's not much of a quiet lake, as it's home to 5 towns and 3 communes with a population exceeding 200,000. On top of this, all the modern-day services and amenities are available in most of the towns on its shores. The cost of living is still a bit high, with the median spending of around $2,000. But then again, it depends on the town and the type of residence one chooses. As for activities, there are plenty. The lake is in the midst of 2 national parks and extends upwards to the Swiss Alps, so a trip on one of its local ferries is always exciting. Apart from this, the beautiful gardens, villas, botanical gardens, and many other interesting places to visit make it a great place to consider when thinking of moving to a lakeside destination in Europe. Number 10. Lake Ioannina, Greece. This is the largest lake in Greece, with a surface area of about 41 square kilometers. It's right next to its namesake city, Ioannina, which is also the regional capital. The lake itself is a captivating natural beauty, with centuries of cultural history under its belt. Its tranquil waters, picturesque surroundings, and fascinating adjoining city has become quite the popular destination for relaxation among locals and foreigners. The living cost in its main city is quite nominal compared to many others on this list. The average living cost for a single individual with rent and utilities is only around $1,200, while for a couple, this cost rounds up to around $2,000. Number 9. Lake Bled, Slovenia. Located in a picturesque location between views of beautiful forests and mountains, Lake Bled is the perfect getaway for people who enjoy a peaceful lifestyle away from the hustle and bustle of urban living. The locale is also quite accessible, as it's only a few hours from the country's capital of Ljubljana. There's a decent range of accommodation around the lake, both for short-term and long-term. However, the cost of living tends to be a bit higher, even more so than the capital, as it can rack up to $2,000 per month. Another thing to note is that it still lags behind in some day-to-day services, like hospitals and facilities. But nevertheless, its travel connections are very developed, and there are a couple of towns nearby that are equipped with all the basic facilities. Besides, the capital is also in close proximity and is easily accessible by train, car, and even buses. Number 8. Wolfgangsee Lake, Austria. Named after the celebrated and prolific Baroque-era composer Wolfgang Mozart, Lake Wolfgangsee is one of the most well-known lakes in Austria. It's very accessible as it's located right next door to the Austrian city of Salzburg, which is celebrated as the music center of Europe. The lake also enjoys several cozy, picturesque towns, such as St. Wolfgang, St. Gilgen, and many other municipalities. Living costs in this side of the country are also quite affordable, especially compared to the more urban areas. Average monthly expenses for a single individual amount to roughly $1,800, even after rent and utilities. Couple all these factors with the great quality of life, high human development index throughout the country, as well as universal healthcare, it's a prime lake for anyone looking to enjoy a peaceful, carefree lifestyle near the water. Number 7. Lake Geneva, Switzerland. One of the most premier lakes in Europe, Lake Geneva sits right on the border between Switzerland and France. The lake is crescent-shaped, with the Swiss Alps to the south and the Jura Mountains to the north. It hosts many prominent Swiss cities, like the namesake Geneva and the city of Lausanne, as well as a couple of other French towns and settlements. The lake also offers an abundance of activities that cater to people of all age groups, from swimming, boating, fishing, golfing, hiking, to brisk walks near the lakeside. While the surrounding region is known for its vineyards, historic castles, and picturesque landscapes, making it a popular destination for both residents and tourists. The only real downside is the high cost of living, with a single person's monthly expenditure exceeding $3,000. But it definitely makes up for it with its high quality of life, job opportunities, higher wages, as well as free subsidized healthcare. Number 6. Lake Constance. Located in the foothills of the Alps, spanning an area of approximately 540 square kilometers, this lake shares its shores with 3 major countries, Austria, Switzerland, and Germany. With so much diversity, it hosts numerous towns and cities along the shores, offering a wide mix of cultural, historical, and recreational attractions. Surrounded by a diverse landscape, the lake boasts mountains on all 4 sides, while the lowlands are comprised of mostly green agricultural land and some beautiful forest locations. The area is also very safe, and the locals are accommodating to foreigners as this is a very bustling touristic area. The average living cost for a single individual on this lake varies a lot, as people who prefer to reside on the Swiss side obviously spend more than those on the German and Austrian sides. Additionally, its proximity to major cities ensures easy access to urban amenities. Number 5. Lake Garda, Italy. Nestled between 2 major Italian cities, Venice and Milan, Lake Garda is the biggest lake in the country of Italy. Known for its stunning beauty, picturesque surrounding towns, and great quality wine, Lake Garda is an exquisite lakeside locale. The city that is the most closest to this lake is Verona, which itself is often listed as one of the best cities to reside in all of Italy. Other towns on the shore of Garda are also unique and offer their own distinct atmosphere. The average cost of living in the surrounding towns is quite cheap when compared to other lake towns in Italy, with the average monthly spending for a single individual coming in at around $1,500, including rent and utilities. It's possible to get an even cheaper deal, but to also maintain an ideal standard of living, one is expected to spend almost $2,000 a month. With a mild climate that stays steady throughout the year, lots of outdoor activities, great restaurants, a peaceful atmosphere, and accessibility to all the major needs that anyone might have, this is another great contender for lakeside living in Europe. Number 4. Lake Lucerne, Switzerland. The most centrally located lake in Switzerland, Lake Lucerne is the 4th largest lake in the country, covering an area of about 115 square kilometers. Surrounding the lake are several charming towns and villages, including the main city of Lucerne. These places offer a mix of cultural attractions, historic sites, and outdoor activities, making Lake Lucerne an ideal destination for both relaxation and exploration. In addition to the adornments, the lake is also suitable for swimming, fishing, and water sports, such as kayaking and windsurfing. But again, the only viable downside is the cost of living, just like the other Swiss lakes on this list. The average monthly living expenses for a single individual living on Lake Lucerne comes out to roughly $3,000, with rent taking up most of the budget. Thus, most of the people who are moving here are often those transferring into highly paid roles with international companies or those who hold a formidable net worth. Number 3. Lake Annecy, France. Widely regarded as one of the most beautiful lakes in not just France, but the entirety of Europe, Lake Annecy is situated at the northern end of the French Alps and covers an area of approximately 28 square kilometers. The lake is surrounded by charming towns and villages, with Annecy being the most prominent city among them. This city is often touted as the Venice of the Alps due to its intricate network of canals and charming old town. It offers a blend of rich history, vibrant culture, and stunning natural beauty. The average living cost for a single individual here amounts to around $2,200, including rents and utilities, which is actually a lot cheaper than most nearby urban areas. However, the cost of living almost doubles in peak summer seasons due to its regional and international popularity of being a perfect summer vacation destination. Number 2. Lake Zurich, Switzerland. Located in the famed canton of Zurich, right next to its namesake city, Lake Zurich is a beautiful lake that is known for its vibrant atmosphere and stunning surrounding scenery. The lake is lined by jagged mountains that provide a brilliant backdrop to a beautiful inland environment. Beyond its main city with a surface area of about 88 square kilometers, it hosts 7 towns and communes, each with their own flavor and attributes. The cost of living on any area of its shoreline is very expensive. As a matter of fact, this is quite easily the most expensive lake to reside in the world. After all, Zurich itself is one of the most expensive cities in the world. But then again, only affluent people who have ties with the finance and tech sector of the main city tend to move here. Digital nomads and remote workers might have a harder time affording life on this lake unless they also have a high-paying job in their home country or only visit for a shorter period of time. Number 1. Lake Como, Italy. With a peculiar Y-shaped topography, displaying 2 southward branches and a narrower northern branch, Lake Como stretches approximately 46 kilometers in length and is surrounded by steep mountains, which create a breathtaking backdrop for the city, towns, and villages situated along its shores. This lake is very appealing to all, be it the affluent, the famous, and the average person. What's unique about this lake is that the city and scenery are not all it has to offer. One can find the locals practicing agriculture, farming, and freshwater fishing in the lake's northern parts. Moreover, living on Lake Como is very accessible. One can easily get to pretty much anywhere in Italy. Milan, Venice, Genoa, and Florence are just a few hours away from Como City by train or car. Furthermore, the international community on this lake is very strong, as it's home to many foreigners who visit it all year round and often decide to transform their trip into a more permanent affair. To top it off, it has a continental climate, which means one can experience every season at its best. While when it comes to the cost of living, it's far more affordable than the Swiss lakes mentioned in this video, on average, $2,000 is the spend per month. But most of it depends upon the lifestyle and area one chooses to reside.